Hi everyone, and welcome to the final reflection presentation. My name is Seja Batori, and this is going to be my pitch or my presentation for the final self-evaluation, also as the peer critique presentation. So over the course of the class, I've had the opportunity to grow, I would say tremendously, in how I prepare, deliver, perform presentations. Taking a look back from my introductory presentation all the way up to my final self-chosen presentation, which I chose was the informative YouTube presentation project. I would say that each assignment has played a key role in shaping my communication skills. And today I'm going to walk you through my journey over this course this semester, showcasing some improvements that I need to make or highlighting various details that I may or may not have missed going through the semester throughout all my projects. So to begin with the introductory presentation, at the time I didn't realize or really know how much I still needed to improve in terms of structure, presence, posture, speech, eye contact, emotion. My biggest weaknesses was definitely pacing. I definitely spoke a little too fast and I didn't break down words effectively. I tended to speak a little too quickly, sometimes even quicker than myself would allow. Sometimes I would jump in words over one another. And I would say that my points weren't always organized or maybe made clear at all points. But I would say on the positive side, I remained with good energy, kept a natural tone, and it's gonna help me connect with my audience. But I knew right away that I had to work on preparation, especially outlining my thoughts in a more engaging order. From this project, I would go on to learn the importance of creating a storyboard or an outline, basically overall preparation, actually practicing script, focusing more on my eye contact and the way I speak. Especially given that it's a camera or online class. I would say this will make a huge difference in my confidence and clarity later on when I have to give more formal presentations. So the next presentation that I had signed up for was the podium presentation. I would say that this was more of a challenging feat. It wanted me to be more formal and deliberate, and I needed to focus more on posture, eye contact, vocal control. And I would say that this was an overall turning point for me. I started practicing in front of a mirror, recording myself, and it definitely helped me identify certain words, such as filler words, maybe noticed my awkward pauses that I tend to make pretty often, hand gestures that could either be good or some that are more distracting. I would say that the podium format made me realize how much performance is going to matter, especially in that type of given setting. It's not going to be just what you say, but how you say it. And I received feedback on my stance and articulation, which I took seriously and hopefully worked to refine. As a result, I was way more comfortable staying composed under pressure, and I became more mindful of my audience's perception of how I was speaking. So my next presentation was the business pitch or the PowerPoint presentation. I would say this was one of my more favorite presentations, especially doing the research and putting the time into the PowerPoint slides. I would say it taught me how to be persuasive while staying concise and professional. I would say the visual elements added a new layer of complexity I had to think about, such as slide design, timing, syncing my verbal and delivery with visual cues. I practiced very extensively for this one, and I feel like it sort of paid off. I think it reflected the best in terms of grade. I learned to use the saying, which is less is more rule for slides, and to emphasize various key points with voice inflection and pacing. I also incorporated storytelling, framing the pitch around a relatable problem that many people all share, and how I pitched my solution to hopefully address it. I would go to receive great feedback about my slide clarity and enthusiasm, though I still think I could improve on a few transitions between points and answering potential counter arguments a little bit more proactively. I would say this presentation boosted my confidence in speaking to stakeholders, maybe clients in a business setting, which is a skill that I hope to plan or hope on using later in my future career. My final presentation was the YouTube presentation. I thought this was fun and demanding. It required me to think not just as a presenter, but also as a content creator. I had to consider tedious minor tweaks in editing, visual, sound quality, maybe whether it was adjusting script. I saw this as a culmination of everything that we had learned across the semester, such as preparation, especially the factors preparation, performance, and audience engagement. I was proud of the final because it reflected my growth. I was more expressive. My pacing was going to be a little bit more controlled. I used visuals, I would say, more effectively without letting them take over the message. I did notice how much more natural I felt in front of the camera compared to the beginning of the semester, which was something a little bit more unfamiliar for me. I would definitely say the confidence came from practice, reflection, and feedback from both the professor and my peers throughout the semester. I still do want to work on being more dynamic in front of the camera, varying in tone, facial expressions, and try to sound a little less rehearsed and let everything just roll off the tongue. I would say in terms of my own performance this semester, I believe I've made significant progress in structure, clarity, and overall confidence. The biggest shift has been how seriously I take the prep phase, such as rehearsing, revising, visualizing my overall success way before I speak. When reviewing the peer presentations, I was inspired by classmates who were especially good at storytelling and authenticity. Watching them reminded me that communication isn't always technical. It's going to always be emotional. That's something I want to continue to work on, especially bringing more of myself into my presentations and not just being so textbook or so technical, if that makes sense. Not, AI or computer generated. So a future outlook, I would say going forward, I want to continue building my skills. I want to seek more feedback, such as doing more things just like this. I want to participate more in public speaking and presentation opportunities, whether that's recording myself regularly. I'd like to explore improvisation techniques, hopefully improve my adaptability and my ability to be spontaneous during live questions and answers or unplanned moments, or whether someone's giving a speech, getting the confidence to grab the mic and basically have a chat with them while they're going. I want to say I want to be a better listener. I want to be able to tailor my message within real time and connect with different audiences across many different fields way more effectively. So this has been my outlook. I really appreciate this class, and it's definitely something that I'm going to keep in my back pocket, especially for years to come. I definitely am going to take a career path where I'm going to have to lead meetings and speak to teams, audiences more effectively, concisely, and I would say that this class has made a lasting impact on how I view the communications. And I'm grateful for all the feedback from my classmates, my professor, and the overall support from the professor given this unusual delivery mode. And, I look forward to carrying these lessons forward in both academic and professional settings. And I appreciate any criticism, critique that I can get on my final reflection. I want to thank you all for a good semester, and I wish you all the best of luck in your careers.